How many times have you used that line in a sales meeting?
I actually use it all the time.
Yeah. Welcome to Professional Builders Secrets, the podcast for building company owners wanting to grow safely and securely. I'm your host, Will Blunt, and today I'm joined by Thomas Coy from Coy's Constructions in Melbourne, Australia. Thomas, welcome to the show.
Hey, Will. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you on today. So tell me more about how you got into the building industry.
So I started off as a carpenter, like most builders, and I started carpentry. I actually wanted to become a landscaper in the early days, and then discovered I love the hard aspects of landscaping, which drove me into carpentry. Loved building things with my hands. I was never really an academic at school. Chose subjects like agriculture and woodwork and things that marked me down. And loved carpentry and everything to do with it. And then you obviously develop your skills as a carpenter, and forces you into bigger and better jobs, which naturally progression to push you into become a licensed builder as you're limited to what you can build.
Cool. So you were working for someone else, obviously, when you started out. How long did it take you until you really wanted to rip off the Band-Aid and start your own business?
Well, I obviously did my 4-year apprenticeship, and then I worked for someone else for 6 months, and then I want to run my own show. And then, 6 months out of my time, I started Coy's Constructions as a carpentry company, and then, here we are today as a building company.
Straight in there. So what's the building model today? The business model you've got?
So we have a team of carpenters on site. We have a site supervisor, a project manager, internal accounts, and a client liaison as well in the office, and with a couple of virtual assistants.
Okay, so you do full end design build model?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. How did you find that journey from working from someone else and diving in headfirst yourself and getting the business started?
Yeah, so you trip yourself up a lot, and I guess when you start losing money, you learn pretty quick. So like anyone, you make mistakes along the way, and what you learn from that, rather than let it get you down, you just get better and better, and just don't make the same mistake.
Okay. So how long ago was that you started the business?
Business has been running for over 10 years, been registered now for 7, I think.
That's a huge achievement. Reached the decade, mate. Not many building companies make it that far.
Right. Well, it's definitely been a roller coaster of emotions and blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into the business. But now it's better than ever. And some days I look for things to do, because the team we have now is amazing. And I say to the team, it's not my company, it's ours. We value our clients' money as if it's our own. And every home that we build, I build it as if with our own input into it. So I won't do things on their home that I wouldn't do on my own.
Cool. It's a really nice way to look at it. So what do you do in the business now? You mentioned you got a whole team around you. What's your role?
Yeah, so I've moved into more of a salesman role, and I oversee things on site. So I generally have a couple of days on site, and the other 3 days in the office, and we'll schedule the meetings, client meetings, finance meetings around those site days, and obviously they move around, weather dependent, etc. To be honest, I hated it. I hated moving from site into the office. I became a carpenter because I loved building, and then naturally saw my skill set that I could get other people to do the site work, and I was more valuable in the office. And then I guess naturally good with people, so I became the salesman, which I quite enjoy. That it's the thrill of the chase to get the clients and have that relationship with them. Yeah. So I guess to answer your question, weekly site meetings. I'm in the office, a mixture between on-site and in the office, but more in the office now than I ever have been.
You mentioned that you found that hard. Do you still miss being on the tools?
Definitely. Yeah. Without sounding like a wanker, I could go to site and have 15 guys on site and find things to do and spot faults or problems or things for them to do or the way I would like it done. Do that with my eyes closed, where I come into the office, and if I get tripped up with a bit of software or passwords or whatever, it's not my natural area, I guess. So, however, I know that you can't do it forever, so you need to naturally progress and do the things that you need to do.
What's your driver for wanting to make that change, though? Is it a physical thing, or are you aspirations to grow the business, that kind of stuff?
Correct. Yeah, aspirations to grow the business. I've got a young family. I've got 3 kids. To grow it into something that in one day we could either sell or hand to them as like a legacy. That is a profitable business.
Yeah, nice. It's a good driving force, I guess, to get off the tools.
And to do more, right? Like if you rather than swapping time for money, as an hourly rate as being a carpenter, I can grow and leverage off what the knowledge that I've learned and the people that I have around me, that we can grow and give back and do more. Like our joining APB, they give you a BHAG goal, that big, hairy, audacious goal. And, I don't know if I should say, but I'd love to go and have the business that's profitable and big enough to go and build a village in Africa or maybe in Australia.
Yeah, awesome. So that's the BHAG.
Yeah, to have enough connections, suppliers around us, people, community, to go and do that. And that's when you finish your career and you're on your deathbed, you go, what did you do for your life? You go, hey, we built a business and we built a village in Africa, and we all did it. Yeah.
Do you have like a time frame for wanting to achieve that?
I've got 6 years. Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was thinking even longer than that. That's a big hairy one.
Well, I want to set up a charity within 2 years.
Yeah.
And then once the charity's set up, the plan, and then you've got 4 years to plan to do it, to have that collaborative approach to go and get it done.
Yeah, awesome. Well, have you actually laid out the steps to get there?
No, but I've started putting the connections in place, who I need to speak to, how they connected, what supply I need to do. And yeah, got a rough idea.
Yeah, cool.
We'll figure
we might
it
have
out.
to check back in 6 years and see how you're going.
Call me when I'm in Africa.
Yeah, exactly. So let's just go back a step and talk about how you transitioned from being on the tools to working on the business. What are some of the things you had to do to make that transition?
Yeah, look, when I think about it now, is really challenging. A lot of guys out there will be on the tools during the day, coming home, quoting at night. We had a young family at the time, and it puts enormous pressure on your partner at the time, and additional pressure because you've got to find the energy within to go there and do the paperwork. And as being on the tools all day, you want nothing more to just knock off work and have a beer or something, but you've got to go, no, I've got to get these quotes out because I'm not going to have work next week. So that transition from on-site to growing a business that we have today is challenging because of that. You've got to go out and quote after hours to meet clients, to sell the jobs, to quote, to win the work. Yeah, that I'd say was the most challenging part. And then finding your skill set of what you're good at in terms of, right, what's my best use of time? You've only got 24 hours in a day. What am I best to use to best use of your time, and protecting that time.
Yeah. So how did you start putting that puzzle pieces together and finding the right team for you?
I started off with one apprentice, then 2, then 3, then 4. Then once they developed into tradesmen, I could put a bit more trust and reliance on them. Then you could almost leave them on a job. And I said, how good's this? I've got 2 jobs running. And then you'd have 3 jobs running, and then you'd work out, right, we need to schedule this because my head's a mess. I used to keep everything in your head and all the costs and everything. If it's a smaller company, it's okay. You can sort of figure out if you're losing money. But once you've got 6 to 8 jobs on, you don't know what money is yours and not. And I guess we're lucky. We found APB early on, and I felt the pressure with trying to study. I knew I had to do something different, finding the time to work, but also knowing that I couldn't keep doing what I was doing. So trying to find time to do the trainings and learnings was also very challenging.
With hiring those apprentices, what were the other roles you were looking to hire when you were kind of creating this leverage so you could move into more of a sales role?
But to be honest, I never really had a long-term plan. I knew it was never going to be the way it was at the start. I just sort of working out, and then I guess you just realize I can't do it all. I can't do it all myself every day. My wife was helping me with the bookwork and the quoting once that got too big for me. Then we hired external bookkeepers because that got too big. That was the biggest problem. Again, not my skill set. I said, I can do it. I can handle everything on site. I can handle the clients. I just can't handle the paperwork. So my wife helped me with that. And then we outsourced the bookkeeping, and then came to go, right, we're either going to stay small or we're going to go big. And yeah, that's when I said I need to work on the business rather than in it.
Cool. So, what kind of systems and processes do you have in place now that, like, for example, if you lost a supervisor or an estimator tomorrow and you needed to bring someone else into the team, what have you got in place to kind of onboard them and make sure you uphold the standards?
Yeah, so we've got full manuals from the inside out. We've developed systems and processes with an external company that we actually documented and created flowcharts. We've got a hiring process which we've worked with HR companies to develop. We have full sales process. Again, we're always changing it, changing things with the ever-growing, ever-changing market. We have software that we use. We've got two virtual assistants that know where to find all the documents and things. It's a hard question to answer.
No, you've answered it really well. I think what you're trying to, I mean, the feeling I'm getting is that you could go away for a holiday next week and things would keep moving because you've got it systemized.
Definitely. Look, nothing's perfect. There's no perfect setup. There's always something that needs to be changed or tweaked, or we do something, go, hey, we should add this in, or let's take that out, or that's too long, or that's too short. Clients need more information here. It's never going to be, I don't think any system that you develop will ever be like, yep, that's done, that's perfect, forget about it. You'll always be changing things. So that's quite hard to be. I'm a bit fussy or that way. I'm not systems and process driven. People describe me as unorganized or disorganized, but I somehow in my head I make it work. But or I have all these thoughts that go on all the time. I go, hey, we should do this. I'm like, just relax. Let's focus on what we were doing. So I tend to distract a lot of people. But
That's an entrepreneurial instinct, I think.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, if you compare to bigger companies, we go, geez, we could be better. You compare to small companies, you go, hey, we're actually pretty good. So yeah.
Talk me through if we just lasered into your sales process, talk me through how that works.
So we have an initial couple of different ways where the clients will come in. They'll either come off from a referral or a site sign, or they'll come through as a lead from the website. If that's the case, they'll fill out a form, or they'll call we've got a 1300 number, which soon changed from my mobile because that was crazy when I was on site. I was getting phone calls, that was driving me crazy. And they'll either fill out an inquiry form, ask a list of questions. If they qualify through that, then I will call them. And then in that secondary qualification, we'll work out their budgets when they want to start, etc. And then I'll sell them into our pre-construction process, which works really, really well.
Yeah, nice.
And the aim for that is to get them out of the market and to give them the service that we promised, right? So we're going to have an in-depth look. We're going to act as a consultant for them where they consult to align their budget and their plans together to make sure that they haven't designed something that's over budget and they're getting what they dreamed of when they went to the designer. Or they come right at the start and they've got nothing, and we have those meetings with the designer. So a collaborative approach to really handhold the client into building.
When you say getting them out of the market, what commitment are you getting from them to make sure that they're locked and loaded?
Yeah, so we charge them for that. So some clients come to us and go, hey, we just got really no idea what this is going to cost, and we'll charge them for a ballpark figure, which gives them a breakdown of round numbers, a breakdown how much that's going to cost, and that's okay, cool. Yeah, we've got the money, or no, we're way out. Sometimes we incorporate it into our larger fee, which incorporates all the meetings. So when I say getting them out of the market, they're paying us to offer that service. So they're obviously not going to pay a number of different builders. They go, yes, we like them, we trust them, we feel they're going to do a good quality product. Actually just came from a meeting just before this and showed a client through a house, and they go, hey, before we commit to this fee, can we just see some of your work? I said, sure. So completely understand it. And what APV's taught us is when people pay, they pay attention, right?
Yep. So you've not always charged for quotes and stuff?
Oh, no. In the early days when I had a young family and spinning the wheels, out most nights, some days, 7 days a week, going out looking at jobs, and people were just price checking. I said, this is just killing me. It's wasting all my time. So as soon as I started charging to go do site visits at $197, which is crazy now, but that's where you got to start. And
what are you at now? We don't have to say, but
we charge people $6,000 now to go and
big difference.
Yeah.
And
that involves the team and everything, and they're getting the expertise not only from me but from my whole team.
So have you noticed any significant drop in like conversions? Or you feel like there's a stronger commitment there from people?
No, I think people actually, they definitely respect you more when you charge. When you say, hey, we don't do this for free, there's a fee associated to this. You do get some that go, oh no, we're not paying that. Okay, well, you're not our client anyway. So I've learned that they would have been a pain, or they were just price checking. So when they commit to that, or they're aware of their fee, they respect your time more. So if you say, hey guys, I'll meet you on site, but I've only got half an hour, is that okay? And they really respect your time. And you're getting a better quality of client with that. So much less time wasters, I guess. And that's the idea of it, and it really works.
Is that a non-refundable fee, or is that offset on the build cost if they go forward?
No, it's a separate fee. So I hear some people, they do say, hey, you'll get that discounted off your build. It doesn't work that way. We disclose where the costs are going anyway. So.
Yeah. I mean, they're paying for your expertise, your team's expertise in the end of the day, right?
Yeah, they're paying for our time. We have some have 3, 4, 6 meetings with us. Yeah. Some go for over an hour long. So they definitely getting the money's worth. And the $6,000 fee they pay, I might, one suggestion from myself and project manager would say, might save them $10,000 just on steel on one suggestion. So 9 times out of 10, they're going to save that fee on our recommendation anyway.
How many times have you used that line in a sales meeting?
I actually use it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
of course, that's a good one.
I've got another one.
True as well. That's why it's good, right?
Do you want me to tell you another one? Another one I use all the time is when I say, "Hey, we've got a factory which we can store your materials here," and that will save if we see a price increase coming, we'll buy your products and store them in a factory. And and they go, "Oh, that's really good. That's really good." And someone took us up on it the other day, and Kane was there to go, "Hey, someone's taking you up on your sales spiel." I was like, "No way." But yeah.
Well, that's pretty topical over the last 18 months, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, but no one took me up on it, but someone did.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you got to be prepared for anything you say in a sales meeting to follow through with.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm like, did I talk too much? I feel like I talk too much. I give myself a headache.
Well, that's all right. As long as you can get the sales across the line at the right margins and also deliver a great product, that's all that matters, right?
No, that's right. And people judge you, I forget the metric, but they judge you in the first few seconds they meet you, and you've got to make that first impression count. And I get a lot of feedback saying, hey, we liked you from the first moment we met you, and we felt that trust. And that's really what drove me coming into the office, because they say you're like a natural. People say salesman, you think of a sleazy car salesman, but I don't like to associate myself with that.
What other factors do you think helps you build trust with clients and making them comfortable to hand over that $6,000 for a quote? Is it beyond just your charisma or immediate impact? What other things are they looking at?
Yeah, definitely showing value, right? Like, clients have got to see value in what you're saying. They've got to believe what you're saying. And we mean every word. We have our core values printed in our entry when clients come to our office. We mean what we say. Like I said before, I will do every job as if it was my own. We value the clients as if it's our own. We do that. We don't cut corners. If something's going to cost us more money, but it's a better job, we'll do that. I'm an open book. Everyone can read me like an open book. I said, ask me anything. There's no such thing as a silly question. Show them, ensuring they're going to get, I guess, not get ripped off. They don't get that feeling, but ensuring they're making the right call. So saying things like, we will find out your needs and wants and ensure that this home delivers that. That's the most important thing. We find out, rather than looking at the floor plan and the layout, I want to find out how you want to live in the home. Is that home and the layout going to suit your lifestyle, rather than worrying about what floor coverings you're going to have? Let's work out the functionality, the buildability of the project, the way it lays on the land, the orientation of it. Do you want to see your kids play in the backyard from your kitchen window? How high is that window? Those are the sort of things I ask them, rather than before we get into the fixtures and fittings and where your taps are.
Yeah, I love that, because it's an emotional decision, any purchase, but especially buying a home for your family.
Yeah, definitely. And how they live, how they're going to live in the home. I said, when you wake up in the morning and you want to make your coffee, do you want to walk this far or this far? Do you want to have a sink next to your coffee machine? Things like, prompt those sort of questions so they think about, like the client we had just before this meeting, he was like, oh, I like how you have the mixer tap right at the front of the shower. I was like, don't worry about all that. I'll ask you all these things, how you want to, so they don't have to reach under the shower to turn the shower on. Things about all the layouts and different things that don't cost any more money, but just think about how they want to live in the home. So it makes a big difference.
I mean, there's a part of that understanding functionally how things work, but a part of it, I think, what I heard was you really do understand your customer because you know what they're looking to have from the end product.
Correct. Yes, we always ask in those initial qualifying questions, do they have any kids? How long they lived in the home, they lived in the area. People often ask, hey, should I just knock it down or should we just sell and move? I was like, well, got a lot of factors to consider when you want to move. So buying a house isn't that easy now. You could move and have annoying neighbours. It's a nightmare for traffic, route to school. So if all those things, some people may not think about. So that will prompt them to go, right, that's made the decision. We'll do a renovation extension rather than a sell and move. So
yeah. That's awesome. You're kind of gathering that information in the qualifying calls, discovery call, so that you can then use that to create a better experience for them.
Correct. And another tip I've learned is using the words that the clients use. There's some annoying terms that people use that could be trendy words like what's one I can't stand. People go bespoke. I can't stand that word. Like I'm a bespoke building or bespoke builder. I hate it. But some clients will use, and the way they phrase a sentence, we pick up on those key words, and then when we talk back to them, when we reply, we use similar. I guess it's mirroring them, right? And then they naturally feel more comfortable.
Well, at the end of the day, it's just listening, actively listening, so you can provide better information to get closer to their ideal outcome.
Correct. Yeah. If they feel more comfortable, they're going to open up to you. And I say, look, we ask their budget when I call them in the second round of qualification. I say, I don't ask you that so I can get every dollar out of you. If you've got a $500,000 budget, I'm not going to come back to you and say, hey, guess what? It's $499,000 under budget.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, hey, it's your lucky day. But that's from that point you can go I can have a quick glance at the plans and go, hey, these guys are miles out. This is what we suggest. And yeah. So more than I guess you've really got to find that ideal client, work out what your niche is and who you're willing to work with. You just take on every job. Was what I was doing in the early days. You pull your hair out because they're not the people you want to work for. Could be a great project, a great build that you want to do for great budget. They're a pain and they're just not the right personality for us as a company. And it's going to be a hard process for them because we don't relate. So our pre-construction process, I say that to them, it's like a try before you buy.
Yep.
And so we could go through this. You're going to get it. You're going to get a guaranteed fixed price. You'll get a schedule. You get everything with this. This is what you're paying for. But you might find that you don't like me and you don't think that we're a good fit. But you'll definitely know that. And what you see is what you get.
So fixed price contracts you mentioned just then. Have you always charged fixed price?
Yes. Yeah. After the last couple of years, it's obviously been challenging. There's a lot more provisional sums and PC items that go included. We don't have a cost escalation clause here in Victoria, so that's made it very challenging in the last couple of years. Obviously, cost overruns, price increases, and the delays in terms of materials and subcontractors has been so busy through the boom is that money's got to come from somewhere. So we've lost a lot of money in the last couple of years, which has created an added stress for everyone. But I think it's turned a corner. It's stabilised now. Still got high interest rates, yeah.
Yeah, how do you handle that with a fixed price without the escalation clauses?
In those particular contracts we had signed, you've just got to wear it. We couldn't increase the price. We had fixed certain things. There were some things that was flexible, some things are variations. We've got one job at the moment. The client's got over $400,000 worth of variations. Sounds great on paper. It actually causes a delay because you can't reach that next stage to get that where you've got progress payments that we're due to hit through to our cash flow forecasting that we can't hit because they've made so many changes. We're going to get more money in the end, but the delay caused to the job, we've still got to cover our overheads and wages, which is in turn end up costing you money.
So how do you calculate your fixed costs for a job? How do you quote that up?
We know what certain items are. You get as many items quoted, then we actually in the process of developing purchase orders at the moment. That's definitely the way to go to track it. We haven't finalised that process yet. Again, systems they're never finished. That's the way to go. Now we get as many things as we can quoted. So big ticket items such as a roof or your windows or things like that. We have our project manager estimator. he's got lots of experience in that, and then anything that he finds challenging, he'll say, "Hey, Tommy, what do you reckon of this?" And I said, "It sits around here." He goes, "Yep, sweet, that's exactly what I thought." We sort of bounce ideas off each other.
So that's kind of like cost of materials, and then you got labor. How are you piecing it all together? Come up with a price for a customer?
You break it down into different. We're using Build Exact for pricing now. Yep, the software, quoting software. We'll still, like I said, still send out the big ticket items, the windows and the roofing and etc. But everything else, the plaster, the bricks, the carpentry, concreting, we can all price that ourselves. If there's something a bit more complex, we will send it out to that trade or supplier to get priced. That creates another issue in itself, because it could be a delay in getting that price back. If we've told the client, this is your quote slot, you'll receive your quote in X amount of days. Hence what you keep updating that software and inputting the pricing into that, so we can do everything in-house. And then we use Builder Trend as our project management software scheduling. We found the estimating side of that hasn't been very good. It's American-based company, so it's just different. It's harder to use. Build Exact is much better.
Interesting. So I guess your choice is to use a couple of different softwares rather than one all in one.
Correct. Yeah, and it may not be that way forever, but that's what we're doing for now. Yeah, I did. So in the early days, obviously, I was doing all the estimating myself, project managing, doing all the carpentry myself. When I was smaller, now the company's too big. I can't do that. And now in terms of hiring people, I don't enjoy estimating. I hate it, to be honest. So it's it makes me anxious. So I don't like doing it. So now we employ a full-time estimator.
That's right. You can do the things you're best at.
That's right.
How do you factor in overheads and everything to a project cost?
Yeah, so we work out our cost per week, a number of weeks that job's going to run. So we won't give a client a schedule until their contract's signed. So obviously where it overlaps with shutdown periods or holidays, things like that, we'll schedule that project around that time of year, etc. And then that job may take, say 26 weeks. And you've got, at that point in time, we'll have 4 or 6 or 8 jobs running. It's covering that percentage. APB have a spreadsheet for that.
What's that one called?
We use our KPI spreadsheet. And even when we're pricing jobs, we have a pricing for profit spreadsheet, which is amazing.
So what type of margin are you charging on your jobs?
We, at the moment, are running the 33% margin. Oh, no. So at when you come out of carpentry school, builder school, even the master builders will tell you it's just cost, labour, materials plus 20%, and that's everything. And then when you put that on paper, and you're coming from a carpenter, we've been an apprentice to a carpenter, and you go, geez, it's great, earn heaps of money. But then you don't even realise how much money you're losing on how much it actually costs to run a business, on all the software, your team, everything. So yeah, I think if we work that out, I was running at about 8%. And now we're at 33, so big difference.
Massive. And have you found any pushback from clients, or they don't know about the margin?
No, they do. If they ask, so we tell them, but there's no secret to say that we're putting a builder's margin on. Same as when they say, can we supply our own trades? I say, I don't mind. If we don't have to pay for it, we're not going to charge you. However, as long as they stick to our schedule, because if it doesn't, it's going to cost us and you money.
Yep.
Fully understand it. And they like when people pay, they pay attention, right? So they know that if you wouldn't want someone working for you that's, they're losing money. So we're happy. We're going to do a professional job. We're going to do what we say.
Yeah, as long as you're up front, as you said, it almost builds trust in a way.
That's right. For sure.
Cool. So you mentioned that APB, the KPI dashboard, the pricing for profit calculator. What's the one thing that's had the biggest impact for you working with APB? I think you've been a member since 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. Yeah, I've got a plaque somewhere, 5 or 6 years. Yes.
Very good. What's had the biggest impact on you?
Knowing, I guess, them keeping us accountable. That's a hard question to answer. Definitely the pricing for profit WIPA calculator is amazing. That knowing your liability, because the whole story of like, hey, I've got 300 grand in the bank, and then builders will go out and buy a ski boat, but the money's not theirs. They owe that money to the plasterer or the plumber or whoever, but they don't realise at the time. So knowing your liability, the knowing the numbers, how the marketing relates into sales and how it flows down the funnel. I guess how many leads you need, how much you need to spend on marketing in order to get those leads. Whereas previous, I thought that was just dead money. I was like, well, I didn't want to spend money on marketing because I didn't see an ROI on it. Whereas now you know that you need to spend 10, 20, 30 grand a month on marketing to get the leads, to get the better jobs, to get the higher margins, and focusing on the margin rather than the contract value.
Yeah, awesome. So it's just that whole kind of
the whole flow chart. It's not it's a hard question to answer. Being kept accountable, and then the APB will have, it's like, they keep pushing you, right? Keep pushing you to get to, right, you've done that, you've nailed that. Now this is what we need.
Working towards that BHAG.
That's right. Yeah.
Cool. So, Tom, it's been an awesome chat today, but is there any advice you'd give other builders out there looking to run a profitable building company?
Don't get too disheartened in the downtimes. Try and, in the downtimes, really take the lessons that you learn from that and go, right, what can I do better? Don't let it beat you up. A lot of builders get down, and speaking to one of my team members today, and they said it's great how you're mates with a lot of these builders, because I think years ago it used to be a competitive. As another builder, he's our competitor. Whereas now you can come together, and I host one of the chapter meetings here in Melbourne, and we get together once a month and we talk about our challenges, and some of the conversations can be quite negative, that we've got supplier issues, or the price increase for this, or insurance for that, and you can pivot that conversation into go, right, what can we learn from that? What can we do better? And in the downtimes, it is tough. There's a roller coaster of emotions running a building company. You have big swings in revenue. Cash flow is very lumpy. Trying to steady that, and you can plan for the most perfect job, and then something out of the blue will happen. And you always feel like the builder's losing. But yeah, trying to learn and just trying to better yourself, keeping up with technology and finding a niche. I'd say find a niche would be my biggest advice. Don't just do what everyone does. Market differently. Look for something that is going to make you stand out from the pack.
I love that. Tons of good advice there for builders out there. Thomas, or Tom, I'm sorry, I've called you a couple of different names on this podcast.
Call me Thomas if I'm in trouble.
Yeah, okay. Well, you're not in trouble, so I'll call you Tom for now. But I've learned a ton today about systemizing your business so you can get from the tools into something that you're really much better at and you're comfortable with, so you can grow the business, getting the right things in place from a pricing and margins perspective. Even just some of the tips you gave around the sales process and creating a connection with your customers and charging for quotes. So much to take in, but I think just a ton of value for all the builders out there. So thanks so much for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Will. And I'll just say one more thing. I'll just say, protect your time. Know your value of your own time. And some people get stuck on site picking up rubbish, for example, because they can do that. If it clears your head, that's great, but just protect your time and know where you're most valuable in the business and to other people around you.
Awesome. Let's leave it there. That's a great way to finish. So thanks, Tom, and a big thank you to all our listeners out there, wherever you are in the world. If you like the show today, please subscribe to Professional Builders Secrets on your platform of choice. And if you're feeling generous, leave us a review. But until next time, have a great day.
Cheers, Will.